Whitechapel, London, October 12th, 1889. The fog came in low and fast, a damp grey tide that swallowed lantern light and blurred the line between shadow and substance. It reeked of coal smoke, horse sweat, and something darker, something like blood and secrets. On nights like this, even the rats grew quiet. Constable Thomas Hensley pulled his coat tighter, the collar brushing his beard as he stepped cautiously through Mitre Square. His boots echoed against the slick cobblestones, the sound muffled by the thick London mist. Gas lamps flickered overhead, halos of flame fighting to stay alive in the gloom. There had been whispers all week, murmurs in the pubs, frantic talk in alleyways, half-hysterical rumours. The Ripper's back. But that couldn't be. Jack had vanished, a ghost with no name, no face, no trail. The killings had stopped last year. The city had begun to breathe again. But then, last Thursday, Maggie Cutter was found behind the old Hanbury Street brewery, her body opened like a surgeon's project, eyes wide, mouth agape. The newspapers called it a copycat. But Hensley had seen the wound. He'd smelled the scene. It was no copy. It was a return. He paused at the alley mouth beside a shuttered tailor shop, raising his lantern. "Hello," he called, unsure why he spoke. No one ever answered in these places. The silence answered instead, heavy and deliberate. Then a soft gasp, a woman's voice, short, sharp, and abruptly cut off. Hensley drew his truncheon and ran. He rounded the corner into narrow, grimy Bishop's Court and nearly slipped. His lantern swayed, casting broken light across cobblestone and wall, then found her. A woman lay crumpled in the sliver of space between two buildings, her green dress sodden with rain and darker stains. Her bonnet was torn away, revealing ginger curls matted with something sticky. Blood soaked her throat, pooled beneath her shoulders. Her hands were frozen mid-reach, fingers curled like claws. He crouched beside her, breathing hard, dead, no mistake about it, and pinned to her chest with a silver hat pin. A note, not paper, but a calling card, stiff, cream-coloured, neatly printed. Blood dotted the corners. Hensley pulled it free with shaking fingers and held it to the lantern. Even shadows have a master. The blade was only the beginning. J. The light dimmed. Hensley stumbled back, heart hammering, lungs burning from the icy air. He reached for his whistle and blew. Scotland Yard. 2 hours later. Detective Inspector Margaret Holloway stood over the body without flinching. The autopsy room at Scotland Yard was cold, the stone walls sweating moisture, but she barely noticed. Her gloved hands moved expertly over the corpse, first the throat, then the chest, then the carefully folded arms. "Clean cut," she murmured. "Single stroke, no hesitation." She glanced at the attendant. "No defensive wounds?" "None," the man replied. "She didn't fight back." Holloway's voice dropped. "She never had time." The constable who had found the girl, Hensley, stood nearby, pale-faced but steady. "She was already gone when I reached her," he said. "There was no sound, just fog, and that note." Holloway eyed the card now lying on the examination table. It was chilling in its elegance. Not scribbled, not rushed. Typeset, perhaps from a private press. "The blade was only the beginning," she repeated. "He wants us to know he's not finished. You think it's him? The Ripper?" Holloway hesitated. "No, not exactly. He never left notes. He never posed his victims. This man..." She nodded toward the corpse. "He's sending a message. That means ego, that means control, and planning." She turned toward Hensley. "Tell me everything, every detail, nothing too small." He recounted it all. The fog, the scream, the alley, the body, the note. When he finished, Holloway stepped back from the table and removed her gloves. "She was chosen," she said. "The colour of the dress, the place, the method, all deliberate. You said he's not the Ripper." "No," she said again. "He wants us to think he's more." Later that night, Holloway's office, Inspector Holloway, sat in her modest office near the top floor of Scotland Yard. The city stretched beyond the tall windows in shades of grey and black. The fog had thinned somewhat, revealing the distant glow of the gasworks. It made the city seem ghostly, half-dreamed. She lit a cigarette with shaking hands and stared at the notes in front of her. 3 murders in the past 10 days. 1 in Whitechapel, 1 in Limehouse, 1 tonight near Mitre Square. All women, all alone, all throats cut in the same precise way. And now, notes. She opened a drawer and pulled out a slim black folder labelled Whitechapel 1888, the Ripper file, her file. She had studied him for months, sleepless, obsessed. She'd walked the blood-soaked streets. She'd interviewed madmen and surgeons and desperate women with haunted eyes. And though the Ripper had vanished, he'd left behind a wound in the city's soul that had never quite healed. Now someone had returned to that wound and was carving it deeper. She read the new note again. Even shadows have a master. A disciple? A cult? Some lunatic chasing infamy? Or worse, someone using the fear of Jack to mask something new? She reached for her pen and began a new file. File opened. The J killings victim. 1. Margaret Cutter, Hanbury Street. Victim 2, Beatrice Vale, Limehouse. Victim 3, unknown, Bishop's Court. Notes found at 2 scenes. Consistent method, consistent timing. Holloway circled a phrase from the most recent note. The blade was only the beginning. That meant there was more. She knew it in her bones.